Hi everyone, I'm going to be honest with you. A week or so ago I had uploaded a video saying I would love to make a video where I give you personal book recommendations. So I asked you to leave comments saying, I like this book, I would like a book like it, what would you recommend? And then I was going to make a video today responding to all of those and giving you book recommendations. But today has just not been, the one. We're all having days like this at the moment, and that today is today. Did that make sense? I don't know, I was not in the headspace to sit down and to be a good bookseller to you guys, and I would like to be a good bookseller when giving those recommendations. So I'm going to make that video next week instead. Plus, I think there are over 200 requests for recommendations, so it's going to take me a while. I'll make a video where I am giving recommendations to some of those, and then I will reply individually to all of those hundreds of comments in the comment section of the other video, giving recommendations to everyone that I didn't get around to replying to in the video itself. So instead, what I felt I could do was do a book haul. So that's what we're doing, and I hope that that is okay. If you would like more in-depth discussion of books today, I did an Instagram live with Evie Wilde, who's the author of The Bass Rock. It's my favourite book of this year so far. I did that over on the Toast Instagram, and it'll still be available on Instagram live just as this video is going up, so for the next hour. And then I'm hoping that they're going to put it on their IGTV at some point in the future. So if you missed the live, you should be able to watch it later. And I was going to say, and also, this is not an in-depth discussion of books, but if you would like more content, because this one today is going to be a shorter video than the other one was going to be, I have filmed a storytelling video for Thames and Hudson, which has gone up on their IGTV today, where I'm reading Franklin and Luna Go to the Moon. So if you would like a storytelling session, I'll link that in the comments section down below. All right, so let me tell you what books I have. Well, I was going to say picked up recently. I picked up none of these in person. Some of these are books I've purchased from bookshops online. Some of these are proof copies. One of them is an actual printed book, because publishers are having difficulty getting proofs made obviously at the moment. So Fairlight Books have sent me a actual printed document that they printed at their printer at home. So I have that as well. Let me show you what we've got. So this is Maggie O'Farrell's Hamlet. I am really excited to read this. I'm going to be reading it this month, so in April, so I'll talk about it in a couple of weeks' time. So this is about Shakespeare, and it's about the death of his son, who was called Hamlet. The blurb says, on a summer's day in 1596, a young girl in Stratford-upon-Avon takes to her bed with a fever. Her twin brother Hamlet searches everywhere for help. Why is nobody at home? Their mother Agnes is over a mile away in the garden where she grows medicinal herbs. Their father is working in London. Neither parent knows that one of their children will not survive the week. This is about plague. I have heard so many good things about this, and I love Maggie's writing so very much. This is also currently longlisted for the Women's Prize as well, and from what I've heard about it, I would be very surprised if it is not shortlisted in a couple of weeks' time. So they're still announcing the shortlist. I think it's on the 22nd of April, but then they're not announcing the winner of the prize now until September instead of June. I bought this book here, which is The Fairy Tales of Madame D'Aulnoy. She was pretty badass. She was rumoured to be a spy. She recited fairy tales in the 1600s in literary salons, and a lot of her tales are really epic, but have been forgotten in favour of sometimes shorter ones, but mainly by men. And I included one of her versions of Rapunzel in the Rapunzel History of Fairy Tales video that I made, which I'll link down below. It's called The White Cat, and it's included in Andrew Lang's fairy tale book. It's ridiculous and wonderful, so I'm looking forward to reading more of her stuff. Next, I was sent this in the post. It's a book that I bought ages ago because I funded it when it was in the making. This is Stim, an Autism Anthology, edited by Lizzie Huxley Jones, and it's published by Unbound. So this is a series of essays. I don't know if it's also got poetry, etc. in it too, or if it's just essays. Let me check. It says essays, fiction, and visual art. So 18 different creative things by 18 autistic writers, showing a broader scope than we would normally see of what it means to be autistic, and giving voice to those 18 individuals. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Next, I was sent this for review by Harville Secker. This is All About Sarah by Pauline Delabroy Allard, and it's translated from the French by Adriana Hunter. And this is a queer love story between two women. It says that a 30-something teacher drifts through her life in Paris, and she is raising a daughter on her own, lonely in spite of her new boyfriend. Then she goes to a party and she meets Sarah, who's a woman who completely turns her world upside down, and they embark on this very intense, it says, sometimes violent affair that will upend both women's lives. So I'm always here for a bit of queer romance, we know that. Then I bought this, which is a Tessa Mossbeg's My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I had forgotten what it was called there for a second. People were talking about writing the novel about self-isolation, and someone says, well, look, it has already been written, and this has been on my radar for such a long time. So many people have read it and talked about it, and I just decided that I would arrive late to that party. But, you know, better late than never. So this, I believe, is a year that she spends on her own. It says there's a vacuum at the heart of things, and it isn't just the loss of her parents or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her, or her sadomasochistic relationship with her best friend. It's the year 2000 in the world's greatest city, glittered with wealth and possibility. What could go terribly wrong? I'm not going to look into it more than that. I'm just going to read it. And then, as I mentioned, I was sent this book here, which has been printed on a regular printer at the house of someone who works at Fairlight Books. And this is a book called A Saint in Swindon by Alice Jolly. And I have shown some of Fairlight's books before. They are quite small. Let me show you a finished one. This is what the books look like when they're finished. They are very short, and this one seems very apt. So it's coming out on the 10th of April, and it says, when a stranger arrives in town with a bulging blue bag and a whiff of adventure, the neighborhood takes notice. When he asks for his meals to be sent to his room and peace and quiet for reading, curiosity turns into obsession. So it's a strange man who comes to this town, who locks himself in a room and demands to be sent books and food. So he is in lockdown and is a man in isolation. It says, who exactly is he? What is he reading? And will it be able to save us from the terrible state of the world? So I'm just so intrigued by that, and I definitely will get to that one in the not too distant future. My interest is definitely peaked, and it's also giving me vibes of There But For There by Ali Smith, which is also about a man who locks himself in a room and is isolated for a long period of time. So if you're looking for books about that, then you could check that out. I don't know if anyone would like a video about characters who are very isolated. Let me know. And then finally, I was sent this proof copy here, which is Karis Davies' new book, and it is called The Mission House. This was an unsolicited book, but I know that so many people love Karis Davies' writing. I've read her short story collection. I've yet to read her book West, but that is sitting on my shelf. And this says, Bird has never been to sea, but in 3 short weeks he'd come to love his bungalow in the Presbytery garden the same way he thought a sailor must love a ship. The tidy order of everything, the feeling of calm he had in the evenings, looking out through the windows over the tops of the trees towards the tea-covered hills above the town. High up here by himself on the slope of this other hill, it was like being in an ark that had come to rest happily in this precise spot. He still had some bad days. It is very beautiful writing, and that's why I have decided to keep that one and delve into it deeper and see if it's one that I would like to read in the future. So those are all the books that I have to talk to you about today. When I can, I will come back to you with the personal book recommendations. Don't worry, I have not forgotten. I also have a reading vlog which will be going up at some point soon as well. I hope that you're all doing okay, and I'm sending you all lots of love. Lots of love. Bye.